Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelvy and this is going to be the third video in my guide series on Gen Con. In the first video we covered some information about everything pertaining to Gen Con, and in the second video we went over the hotel lottery and the hotel registration. In this video we're going to go over event registration. So just about anything at Gen Con that isn't wandering around the exhibit hall or participating in open gaming or eating food at the block party is going to require an event ticket. So if at any point you want a scheduled slot for you to play a specific board game, a specific tabletop game or card game, or for you to attend a seminar or panel or workshop, that's going to be an event and you're going to need a ticket for it. Gen Con is a 24-hour convention and it runs all the way around the clock with events spanning the entire length. There are some people who don't participate in event registration at all, and there are some people who completely pack their schedules for the entire time they're there. I am somewhere in the middle. Either way to do this is valid. If it's your first time attending Gen Con, I would probably recommend you don't pack your schedule completely. You should really get a feel for it first and see what kind of mix of event to free time that you like. When you start looking at event registration, you're going to notice that most of these events have a fee associated with them. So some of the events are free, things like panels and seminars, those are going to be free, but for just about every other event, you're going to find that it has a price of $2 per 2 hours. This is a fee that is retained by Gen Con and is kind of considered the price of the overhead for them running the event. Event organizers are allowed to charge more for their events. That's how they make money. Some events can be pretty expensive. I was in an event last year that cost $40, but to be fair, I did take home an entire copy of a new board game, so just be prepared for that. So how does this whole event registration thing work? Well, first off, you're going to have to buy a badge. You're going to need a badge to participate in any official Gen Con event. You're going to need a badge to get access to the event registration to begin with. So first, you should buy a badge. In my opinion, the second thing you should do is add your friends on your Gen Con account. If you add your friends to your account when event registration comes around, you are actually allowed to buy tickets for them. This is a one-way connection, so if you want your friends to be able to buy tickets for you, then they have to add you as a friend as well. It doesn't automatically sync up like that. So the event list comes out 2 weeks before event registration begins. We'd estimate this year that it's going to be May the 4th. And this is where you can start adding events to your wish list. Adding an event to your wish list does not guarantee you a ticket, but it does make it easier for you to obtain one when the processing begins. It's good to have backups when you're signing up for events. If you're sure that you want to do something during a certain time, you should really have an event that you really want to do and then one in case that falls through. The wish list operates on a priority system, so things at the top of the wish list are going to try to get processed first, and it goes on. So if you have an event that you really want to make sure that you get into, you should put that as your top priority event. If you have added your friends to your Gen Con account, you can buy tickets for them for events. When you go to buy a ticket for an event, you can buy up to 2 for yourself and then 1 for each friend that you have added on the Gen Con website. Your friends can also do this to maximize the possibility of you getting a ticket for an event. If you both register for the event and you both buy each other tickets, if one of you gets the tickets and the other one doesn't, then there you go. It should be noted that the event registration system is not going to allow you to double book a time slot. So let's say that there's an event on Friday from 10 to 2, and then there's another event on Friday from 11 to 3. If you get the ticket from the 10 to 2 event and it goes to process the next one, it's not going to let you do that because it already sees that you have a ticket in that time slot, so it's going to kick that out. Event registration itself is going to begin on May 18th. So on that day, you'll go to the Gen Con website and start processing your wish list. So when you get to the Gen Con website and you go to the My Events page, there's going to be a countdown timer. That timer is up at noon Eastern time, and that is when you want to click to submit your wish list. Once your wish list goes through the processing system, you're going to be placed into a queue based on when the server thinks you clicked on the submit wish list button. There are going to be thousands of people trying to submit their wish lists, and it's not uncommon for the server to be really slow that day. It's also going to seem really unfair because you're going to click right as it becomes available and you're going to get like 10,000 in the list or something like that. That's just how these wish list things are going to work. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of factors based on how far away you live from the server and how fast your ISP is and all that good stuff. It can't really be calculated. This is the only fair way to do it. Once your wish list actually gets processed, the events that you were actually able to get tickets for, those tickets are going to be added to your cart. While they are in your cart, they are protected so long as you do not have 2 hours of inactivity on the event registration website. If you do go inactive for 2 hours, they're going to be thrown back into the pool. But while they're in your cart and you're active on the website, you don't don't have to worry about anyone snagging them from you. This is a good time to check with the other members of your group, if you're going with a group, to make sure that you don't have any duplicate tickets. Because if you wait until you're at the convention to return the tickets, it's a bit more of a hassle. If you check now and return them before buying them, then it's not a problem at all. Once you've got all the tickets in your cart, you can go ahead and check out, and those tickets are going to be added to your schedule. And if you bought them for another person in your group that you're friends with, it'll go to their account. Once all of the wish lists have been processed, you don't have to do the wish list thing anymore. You can go straight in and buy a ticket for an event just like that. You click, it gets added to your cart, you can buy it right then and there. You don't have to do this whole wish list thing. There's nothing stopping you from adding something to your wish list and then clicking process again. It's just, in my opinion, at that point, you might as well just add them to your cart. More and more events are actually using e-ticketing every year. This will be indicated by the ticket icon in that event having a little lightning bolt on it. I find it really convenient because I don't like carrying around a bunch of paper tickets, but other people have different opinions. So your event tickets are going to either be shipped out with your badge to your house if you paid for badge shipping, or they will be picked up in your packet whenever you go to will call to pick up your badge before the event. All right, so your next step is actually going to be go to Gen Con. If you get there, you look at your event ticket, it will actually tell you what room, what building, and what time your event is, so you can keep it right there so you know right where to go. If you want to return an event ticket at the convention, obviously it has to be before the event has started, but you can take that up to, I believe, customer service, and they can return that for you. I don't think you're going to get money back. I'm pretty sure you're going to get system credit, which can be used to buy a badge or for events next year. You can also buy event tickets in person there as long as they are available. You have to wait for them to get printed, but as long as they're available, you can still buy event tickets at the convention. One thing I should talk about is generic tickets. So there are these things called generic tickets, and they cost $2 a piece. You can buy as many of them as you want. These generic tickets can be used to gain access to any event as long as there is an empty slot for you and you have enough generic tickets to cover the price of the event ticket. So let's say that there is an event that costs $6 and there's an empty slot. If you have 3 $2 generic tickets, you can give those to the event organizer and they will let you play in that slot just like that. So don't think that because you didn't get a ticket to an event, that's the end of it. You can keep checking back to see if someone released their ticket, or you can try and cover it with generic tickets should they not show up. It happens more often than you might think. It's good to keep a few generic tickets on you, and even if you don't use them, you can return them and get that money credited towards the system for next year. So I just have a couple final thoughts. Events are constantly being added to the Gen Con schedule, so if you didn't get a ticket for an event that you wanted to attend on wishlist day, keep checking back because it's entirely possible that new events will rise and you'll be able to get a ticket for it. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention gencon.eventdb.us, which is a third-party site that pulls the event information from a CSV that Gen Con releases every 6 hours. It has all of the event information and it has them categorized into their categories, and you can click on them and you can actually go straight from EventDB to the Gen Con website. It's just a lot cleaner in my opinion. I use that tool a lot. Additionally, if you really like using Excel sheets or Google Sheets to keep your schedule in check, Gen Con releases that CSV and you can download it from their website if you would prefer to peruse the events that way. I think that's all I have to say about event registration. It's fairly straightforward. It's a little less complicated than the hotel block is. I'm kind of running out of ideas for these Gen Con guide videos. I was thinking maybe, what should I bring to Gen Con, or how should I tackle the exhibit hall? So if you have any opinions on that, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you got to this video without watching my other videos in the series, I did do one on the hotel block and one on just some general information about Gen Con, with a little bit of special information for those Critical Role fans who are coming to Indy for their live show. So I'll link those two down in the description as well. That's about it. I'll see you next time.